Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Superboy Beyond. And we are returning once again to the Kirk Alyn serial. I know, big shock. We did announce it last week, but there you go. If this is your first time watching one of our commentaries, this is not like a typical YouTube reaction video. You're not going to see like any actual clips from the episode or hear any of the audio. There'll be a very heavily filtered version up there in the middle, but that's purely there so you can keep in time with us. You know, somebody knocks at the door, you've got to run to the bathroom, whatever, you know. It just lets you get back in sync with us. So, yeah, get your DVD or digital copy ready. This is episode 10. Hit play in 3, 2, 1, play. And here we go. Superman.
You know, you gotta say that you gotta give props to Misha Bakalnikov for doing that with the music.
Yeah. I can't watch this intro now without thinking that in my head when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, you know that when Richard Donner did the 78 movie, he kind of pushed for John Williams to do something like that. Maybe it's because he already saw this, or maybe it was just a happy coincidence.
I don't know. Maybe it might be worth, at some point, I might have to rewatch my Blu-ray of Superman the movie and see all the documentaries and stuff. Maybe he mentions it somewhere. Or maybe it's in like the audio commentary. Like I'm sure he did a director's commentary at some point.
Well, after all, remember he did have two cast members from this in the theatrical film.
Of course, yeah. Kirk Alyn and Noel Neill.
Of course, most of the scene got cut.
Yeah, but I mean, let's face it. I think nowadays most people watch the. Is it the special edition? They call it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know there's the international cut as well, but I'll be honest, I don't think the international cut's a particularly good movie. I think it's too slow and boring at times. And I'm saying that as a Superman fan.
Yeah.
Like even Richard Donner doesn't like the international cut. Like he said, it's basically just he did all that work in tightening the movie and making it entertaining, and then the theatrical, like they could go to put it on television, and suddenly just undo all of his hard work and make it slow and just plods along again. I do like his costume, you know. I know the briefs are a bit too big. I mean, they are a little bit ridiculous. And I would change how the cape attaches to the shoulders if it was me, but it's a pretty good suit, especially for the time.
Yeah, I mean, if they could combine the best elements of his costume with George Reeves's costume, you'd have the perfect.
Yeah, perfect costume for the era, easily. Yeah.
I mean, one thing you can say about George is the S on his cape was yellow.
Yeah. But I don't mind the cape looking like this, you know, without the purely yellow S. I prefer it when it's just plain yellow, but at least it's there, you know. I've got to say, though, with James Gunn's recent Superman, the fact that the yellow S was back on the cape.
And that it was
every
bright,
second.
Yeah, and that it was bright red and bright blue.
Yeah. There are still things I would change with that costume, but there's tiny alterations. Just
the collar.
The collar I would make slightly wider, you know, tiny bit tighter so it's not quite as baggy. That's basically it. Everything else, I don't even mind all the lines that are all over it. I prefer something a little closer to Brandon Routh's suit from Crisis on Infinite Earths, but still. Is that Jimmy?
Yeah, he's pretending to be a gas station attendant
And he's
because
just loosened the bolts on one of their wheels. Like, brilliant.
no, he I think what he did is he let some of the air out.
Oh, is that what he did? I thought they were going to drive off and the wheel was going to fall off in a minute. I suppose he would have needed an actual tool to do that, unless he's just ridiculously strong. I guess he is Jimmy Olsen. He could have superpowers this week. Who knows?
Yep.
That's one thing I hope they do in the DCU, because we never see it on TV. It's just like Jimmy gaining superpowers every other week. Like, I want to see Jimmy like become like Turtle Boy or whatever at least once.
Mm.
I I don't know how many pictures you can take of a machine before you can just build your own. Because
I
surely
mean,
there's more than just the physical makeup of the machine. Surely there's other things that go into it.
well, that's why they kidnapped the scientist.
True. I still can't get over that Jimmy looks so much older when he's wearing that hat. They really shouldn't have given him a hat for this show. That's my biggest complaint with this show so far, is just that Jimmy looks too old.
But Tommy
I,
Bond plays him so well.
he plays him perfectly. I just don't think he looks the part. Like, he looks older than Noel Neal, in my opinion.
When he's got the hat on.
Even when it's off, though, I think they look about the same age. Like, for me, Jimmy should always be obviously younger. You know, he should look considerably younger than Lois and Clark. But you're right, though. He does play it very well.
Now, if he'd been doing this 10 years earlier when he was playing Butch in the Our Gang shorts, he would have been a perfect Jimmy.
I never saw those, but I'll take your word for it. I think, yeah, 10 years younger. You're right.
You know, now that we know that she's really a brunette, you can tell that her complexion doesn't look right with the blonde wig.
Maybe. I think it's partly the fact that her eyebrows are just like jet black.
Yeah.
But every time I've seen, in like a film or whatever, when they've had to lighten someone's eyebrows, it always looks terrible every time. So probably a good thing they didn't.
Yeah.
You are right though. She would have made a damn good Lois Lane. She would have been great.
But Carol Foreman was the serial queen of playing bad girls.
I don't
Every
know.
t-
Maybe that's part of what I think would work for Lois Lane. Lois Lane is great at going undercover and convincing people she's one of the bad guys.
yeah.
Like it's one of those personality traits of Lois Lane. I think she would have played perfectly.
And Pierre Watkin is great as Perry here.
Yeah, he doesn't get very much to do, and to be honest, he's not my favorite Perry White or even close. I even think that God, what's his name? The guy from the George Reeves version.
John Hamilton.
Yeah, like I even think that John Hamilton is slightly better, but no, he does do a very good job. I don't think anyone's ever going to be better at playing Perry White than Lane Smith, in my opinion.
Mm,
But he was helped by the fact that his character was probably more developed on that show than any other portrayal. So if you've got the best character material to work with, I suppose you are going to give maybe the best performance,
yeah.
unless you're Scott Wells. Scott Wells could be given the greatest Lex Luthor script in the world and would still find a way to fuck it up.
Well, he was. It was Luthor Unleashed.
Yeah, still a good episode, that one, but he is the weakest part of it, which is a real shame because he's the star of that episode.
Yeah. I will say though that he did give a better performance in that than he did in any other episode he was in.
Yeah, for sure. Although he was good in The Fixer.
Mm,
That was an entertaining episode. Very clever. I always love in shows when they use Morse code like this. Only thing is, in real life, you have to rely on the fact that what if the person you're trying to contact doesn't know Morse code? Like, if Clark didn't know Morse code, they'd still be stuck.
well, at this time, Morse code was known by more people than it is now.
Yeah. They
So,
still use it today, though. Every now and then you'll see it.
yeah.
I think these days the only Morse code you should really learn is SOS. You know,
Mm.
I do like Kirk Alyn as Superman and Clark Kent. It's a very similar portrayal that George Reeves did, but I do think George Reeves was slightly better, but still.
Yeah, I mean, George had been working in Hollywood and acting longer than Kirk was.
Mm. Still to this day, I haven't seen Kirk Alyn in anything else but this. I'm sure that there are some other great things on his resume, but
trying to think. I think he did. Well, he did. He definitely did the Black Hawk serial after this, which also featured Carol Foreman as the villainess.
Hmm.
And then I think there was a brief TV series he did in the 50s. And then the next thing he did after that was Superman the movie.
Maybe he was typecast a little bit.
Mm,
It's always a shame when actors get typecast, especially when you
yeah.
can clearly see that they are talented performers and they could easily do something else.
Uh-oh. They just figured out what the professor's doing.
Yeah. I mean, it shouldn't shock them that he's a smart guy. He's literally a professor.
Yeah.
I know they were saying it in jest, but you know. Good lad. That was brave of Jimmy. I've got to give him that. Punching the guy in the face while he's got a gun. I still find it incredible that they actually had working car phones back then.
Oh no,
Doesn't feel like it should have been possible.
it's not a car phone. It's a walkie-talkie.
Is that all it is? Just a walkie-talkie?
Yeah, military grade walkie-talkie.
Wow. I suppose that does make sense then. I was just thinking that car phones must have been invented considerably earlier than I thought. I always thought they were an 80s thing. Yep. Well, that's a bit of a spoiler. Well, that's a spoiler. Now we know that next week Clark gets sent to jail for some reason.
Yeah. I think it was a traffic incident.
I guess we'll find out next time we watch this show.
Yep.
Wow. Not the best episode, but still it was entertaining enough. It was mostly Jimmy centric, this one, but I did enjoy the whole Morse code thing. And yeah, I thought it was a fine episode. I don't think it had anything quite as stupid as last week's.
So yeah, it was definitely better than last week's episode.
Yeah. It's funny though, last week's had more things going against it in terms of just logic and stuff like that. But it was probably more entertaining than this episode,
Yeah.
which is really strange because this episode is technically better, but less entertaining.
Mm.
This one I would go 7.25. I don't think I could give it much more than that, to be honest.
I'll go with that on that.
Yeah, it's not a terrible episode. It's just there have been better ones. Even just the first couple of episodes, I think, were more entertaining because, yeah, those first few episodes, we were only planning to watch one, but we kept watching more and more and more because we didn't want to stop because it was that enthralling. I'm
Plus the
not in any
fact that
rush to watch the next one this time. I'm happy to wait a few weeks. So,
yeah,
yeah. What was you saying?
I said plus the fact that, they were cliffhangers and we were like,
Yeah. This cliffhanger, I mean, Lois is in a fire. I think this is the second cliffhanger on this serial where someone has almost been burnt to death as the cliffhanger because we had Jimmy almost burnt to death in that machine
yeah,
in
the
an
conveyor
episode.
belt.
Yeah, so it's not even like it's the first time that they threatened that a character is going to die in a fire as the cliffhanger, and
Mm.
we're only on episode 10.
Yeah, a lot of these episodes that aren't so good, they're kind of they're kind of they're episodes that could be fixed within a couple of seconds. Um, and when they edited the entire serial together as a movie,
Mm,
these slower paced or lacking episodes, they actually became better.
hmm. I've never seen the movie cut of this. Do they have to remove very much, or is it literally like an hour and a half, like almost 2 hours long?
It's like
I know
two and
these
a half.
episodes are short.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours long. The movie cut,
Did they
and
remove anything, or was it literally just the episodes just edited together?
it's the episodes edited together, but they've removed the recaps and
The credits.
yeah, and the what's next.
Yeah. I'd be interested in watching that version if it was included on my DVD set,
Yeah.
but it's not. So I guess I'm not going to see that version. But let's face it, that would be one hell of a long commentary for this channel.
Oh yeah.
Like
And
that
we're
would
s-
be the longest commentary that we would have ever done by
and
far.
I think we're saving that for the granddaddy of them all, which is the '78 Superman.
Yeah, Superman the movie, because we've got to watch. We've got to watch the special edition that has a few of the deleted scenes put back in.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't think you could pay me again to watch. Like you couldn't pay me to watch the international cut again.
Mm.
I just, especially like some of the Krypton stuff in that version is just so boring. Like the destruction of Krypton takes like an extra 5-10 minutes. Or at least it feels that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll watch the best version of the movie, in my opinion, the one that most people seem to watch. Um, yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I think next week we'll be watching the next Fleischer Superman episode. I forget what the episode's actually called right now, but I can find out. The Magnetic Telescope. So
Ooh,
yeah,
that's a good one.
we'll be watching that next week, and after that, we'll probably be starting Wonder Woman, the Linda Carter Wonder Woman, since my Blu-ray has finally arrived. So yeah, that should be fun. And the first episode of that is feature length, so that will be the longest commentary we've done up to that point when we watch that.
Yep.
But there's no getting around it. The episodes aren't split into two on the Blu-ray, otherwise we would just watch them in two parts probably. Still, it'll be fun. We'll see you next week with Fleischer, episode 6, The Magnetic Telescope. See you then. Goodbye.